So I'm in Bonaire, which is close to Aruba. This is my view out one of the doors. And a little inspiration happened as I'm laying down from my nap, communion, coalescing of things. That in-between state, I talk about it in another video. You can call it, you're in between, you're going into the other realms every night, every morning. You're going in and out of sleep, which are other dimensions. These are always good opportunities for exploration or feeling deeper into yourself. So I was just laying here feeling, and I'm listening to something. I could feel how we coalesce realities. The whole new quantum thing that it's that, what one teacher calls, I like him, collapsing the wave. It's like everything is waves and waves of energy. There's no atoms, there's no protons and neutrons, now we're finding out, right? So everything is waves of energy, waves of consciousness, waves of thoughts, feelings, energy constructs. And those waves can be collapsed, like coalesced, like you stick a stick into water solution, you create sugar crystals on that stick. And heavy salt water, you'll precipitate out the salt, There's things suspended in solution, in our suspension. We are in a quantum suspended field where everything exists in potential. There's a 0 point everywhere. I'm trying to figure out how not to cover that up. There's a 0 point everywhere, right? So there's potential creation. There's potential anything you want, anywhere you are. Feel the abundance of that. If the 0 point field, in other words, God is omnipresent, God source is everywhere at all times. So therefore, how can there be a shortage? So that's why masters end up in a place of just total presence, practicing the present, being the presence, being beyond words and labels, So I'm laying in this beautiful place. Roald and his wife, they're building a community here, and anyway, they're in the world and not of it, and I really appreciate them inviting me to come and do the Course of Awakening. But I'm feeling, so when a child, this is such a good example that we can see this. When a child is in that stage, a young child, where it starts asking, what is that, Mom and Dad? It sees something for the first time, a gecko. We saw an iguana this morning. Now, they're a bit of a pests on Bonaire here because they eat all your garden if you don't watch it. But when the child, the 2-year-old, is starting to learn language, language starts collapsing the wave, starts labeling. Language, it's not a gauge of intelligence, language, I write in my book, Listening to the Sun. So as the child first starts to ask, what is that, Mom? Mommy, Daddy, what's that? And we think we're being helpful, and we think we're educating the children. And we've been programmed ourselves. We give them stickers and labels. Now feel the difference. Here's 20 different flowers, roses, tulips, gardenias, chrysanthemums, mums, whatever. Beautiful flowers, vincas. And the child can experience in them before language. Experience the flower, the color, the scent, the frequency, seeing behind the scenes. Versus you teach the child with labels. That's a tulip, that's a rose, that's a carnation. They lose the experience of it. They just end up with a flat label. Like you stick a label on it. This is how we deaden, flatten, take the color out, turn it into Pleasantville, that movie where it just shows there's no color in life, when you lose your emotions. That's what we do with it. Once we start labeling, we're reducing the experience away from these frequencies, tones, if you will. Helen Keller, maybe she chose to be born a little bit or totally that way so she could force herself to experience the feeling, the sensation, the touch, the inner hearing, the inner frequencies instead of the outer senses being caught in labeling things. Feel the difference right now. Next time you look at something, you feel that thing in your mind that goes, oh, that's a flower. Flowers, garden, park. What would you experience it like without labels? And you'll find this also when you meet people. You go, oh, they're like this. I've labeled them. You've reduced them. You've put them in a box. Categorizing minds want to know. Categorizing minds reduce, label, and store people away instead of allowing them to be fresh. Every human being is a gigantic, big God portal. Huge. We're gods. Don't you know you are gods? Joshua ben David. Buddha is sitting there in his Buddha field going, you're all hookups, stargates, connections to the true divine. So this labeling versus experiencing. That's the ego mind, keeping it at a distance. And I don't want to feel it. I want to talk about it. I want to research it and all that stuff. Imagine researching sexuality clinically but never doing it. Right? You can talk about, food, certain foods forever, but you got to taste it. You got to talk. You can talk about swimming forever, but getting in and swimming it's a sensational experience. So you drop your attention to your heart, your belly, your sex chakra. You feel yourself as an embodiment, the Bodhidharma, the embodiment of the Bodhi into the Bodhi of the Dharma. I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am the Stargate opening. I am the access point. I am the axis mundi. I am the axis of the world, as well as the access point. So feel the difference. Labeling everything versus experiencing it. And that example of the child is so good. When the child first starts asking, what is this, Dad? What is that, Mom? And you go, oh, that's a rose. And then the child would reduce the experience of a rose into a little 4-letter word, rose. And the next time, because the child wants to please us, he goes, that's a rose. And it's just looking to get approval from the parent. And so we start the enculturation, the programming of the child, instead of the child being able to experience. It's becoming just a labeler. It's like a sticker machine at the grocery store putting prices on things. Many humans are just like that. Click, the mind's just labeling, click, click, click all the time. It's not feeling, it's not experiencing. It's not being present. The way you can do that, the inner body awakening, I recommend, ancient exercise. Eckhart Tolle talks about it in his book. I would suggest it's from Shiva's techniques, 112 awakening techniques, way back, which I consider before Lemuria, or in Lemuria when humans first fell. Do the inner body, but also just in the moment as you're out and about, take the full divine breath. And drop your attention from click, 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 labeling mind into just feel your heart. Just notice your heart. Notice your solar plexus. Notice the little spider crawling on your toe. Notice your sexuality. Oh, dangerous ground, going deep now. And just feel with your whole body. You're not just a one-cylinder machine, one chakra. It's not just your third eye, your mentation, your pineal gland, or your upper here. You are the whole vibrating pillar of fire. So that why not start utilizing it, allowing it, enjoying it? How does that object feel through my solar plexus? If you notice the video shake, it's my heartbeat. I'm just feeling my heart, so it started. Yeah. So labeling, experience, both are okay, but labeling has become God through scientism, through what we think we know and can explain. But experiencing opens the stargate. It's like the magic opening, the magic unlocking combination into experience. The children come in, most of them, with the experience aperture open, and it gets closed through well-meaning. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. We don't mean to program our children, but we do. Oh, Johnny, that's a rose, that's a boat, that's this. And they're like, oh, I'm pleasing mommy and daddy because I can name things. Naming things is not knowing them. Naming things is not knowing them. A professor professing the textbook that he read 30 years ago, and he's had a little update, shoves it down your throat, pablums it into little birds, and the birds just throw it back up on a test, and we think we know. Labeling is not knowing. Knowing is individual experience and ever new growth, ever new experience. The universe is not static and dead. It has not finished. There's nothing else to do. Been there and done that. Everything's been done. That's not how it is. Each of us as pieces of the star portal, stargates, as pieces of God's source, can have, and we do have, new textures, new mixtures, new combinations, new sensations of experience. Today I will experience, feel. Now, a lot of times there's a lot of trauma built up from old experience that will tend to come up when you first start doing that. So you will have to have a clearing process as well, a way of clearing out these old traumas. The alchemy process is awesome at that. You don't need to get any of my products. They're just ones that you can all do it yourself. Everyone can do it themselves. We all have direct access. But sometimes it's helpful to use certain tools. You know, you can mow the lawn by cutting the with scissors, or you can have it with a hand push mower, or you can talk to the grass or get grass that is just ground cover, you know. Or you can get a big electric one that blows the noise all over the neighborhood. It's our choices. Experience, labeling. Labeling, experience. The whole body, experience. Feel the world with your whole spinal column. It's a different experience than thinking about it. All right, become ye as little children without being stuck in labels, and you will know heaven. Unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. All these teachings are all going to come together, whether it's Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, all of it. All of it. Much love. Later.